Welcome to The Utmost Atheist, dedicated to the publication of resources to combat religious and political tyranny. I feel that it is my obligation to get my own house in order before I attempt to save the rest of the world, so my efforts are focused primarily on Christianity and the United States. However, other religions, countries, and political ideologies are occasionally addressed within this series, and many of my criticisms against Christianity and the two-party political system in America are equally effective in refuting other faith-based politico-religious systems throughout the world, especially those of the Abrahamic variety. In other words, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I offer the premise that separation of church and government within the United States of America is no longer practiced as originally intended by our founding fathers. Through a series of informational videos, I intend to demonstrate how religious ideologies have originated and persisted with the sole motive of serving oligarchs in their suppression of the common citizens. It is time for the average American voter to wake up. You have been lied to in many ways, and I intend to show you how. I ask my viewers to understand that my denunciation is aimed at ideas and not the individuals who hold them. To those who are reluctant to criticize their faith, please ask yourself, if the God of any given religion is so true and mighty, then what do its devotees really have to fear from the trivialities of criticism, confirmation, or even cartoons? Has avoidance of better, more accurate information ever been preferable as it relates to our ability to make conscientious decisions in our lives? When we buy a car, we request the history of insurance claims. When we buy a house, we have it inspected by a trained professional from crawl space to rooftop. When we go to the doctor, we expect to hear the truth about our condition. Even if the answers are difficult to hear, would you really not want to know the truth? If I had been born into the wrong religion, then I think most believers will agree that my skepticism would be commendable. In that case, doubt in my cultural religion would actually be a clue from the real God, who is leading me to the truth. Therefore, I must continue to remain open to skepticism and investigate criticism, for there is no other way to know if my religion may be leading me down the path to truth or not. We are all simply a product of one human culture or another, and for this reason, I believe we must never assume we are right simply for the sake of tradition. In this .com age, the disgruntled usually have their reasons. When we shop online, the one-star ratings are often the most helpful, for they shed light on the negative aspects that the manufacturers would rather us not know. Criticism against religion is equally beneficial, and the producers of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are not above reproach. It is criticism that allows us to account for the deficiencies of our world model and to continuously improve it through supporting evidence. If any religion does hold the truth, then they have nothing to fear. Scrutiny is not an enemy of the truth, but an ally. Real truths will remain standing against scrutiny as it calls out erroneous ideas in the process. I hope that this series will set a civil dialogue in motion among local churchgoers everywhere, and that it will become clear how our allegiance to each other as fellow human beings far outweighs the trivialities of our theological idols. Even if we remain opposed, I hope to demonstrate that we are actually not different from each other after all. Human beings throughout history have shared the common task of making sense and survival for ourselves out of an often frustrating and haphazard world. In this regard, we are all on the same team, and this is my contribution.